Hi, my name is Abigail. As a quick introduction, I spent 7 years on top trading floors like Goldman Sachs and Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Taking all that experience, and I want to break down investing to you so you can take charge and control your finances. So we're going to start a series which is going to be an investment series. I'm going to help anyone who has no idea of how to start investing, is confused about what's going on the internet, where every single day there's something new that everybody is pushing to you. Start your own Airbnb business, invest in this stock, invest in that stock, and it's very confused out there even where to start. I do think that we do ourselves a disservice by not working on our mindset before we start investing. And I'm going to start a series where the first video, which is this one, is going to talk about the mindset you need to have before you start investing. And in that case, it will help you build a steady portfolio and you would see the growth that you're looking for to build your wealth. Let's get right into the video. So the first thing I want to talk about is that you are a business. Let me say that again. You are a business. Now, if you think about it, what do businesses exist to do? Businesses exist to make profit. Businesses have revenue and have costs and end up having profits. And every year, a business will usually set a goal to increase their profits. If you think of yourself as a business, you do have income, which is your salary, what is coming from your side hustles, what is coming from your interest on investments, or like how your investments are growing. And if you think of yourself as an entity, you do have lots of expenses, so food, water, bills, everything else that goes out of your pocket. And what is left in your pocket after the bills go out monthly, yearly, however you choose to calculate your finances, is what you have left to invest, really. I want everybody to think of themselves as a business. And you don't need to do too much. You don't need to weigh on yourself and say, oh my God, I have so much expenses, blah, blah, blah. We are going to work through it so that we can get to a point where you are confident and you are in control of your finances and you know exactly where you are and where you want to go. Now, you can't start investing where you don't understand where you are. So we are going to start by analyzing where we are. It's similar to using Google Maps. Let's say you want to go to London from Birmingham and you will put in the location in Google Maps that you want to go to London. Google Maps will not start moving you from where you are until it knows your exact location to be able to direct you. So the onus is on you to work out where you are in your financial life, where you are in your investment life, to know where you want to be. Now, I want us to take a step back and work out where we are through our monthly budget. So we do have so many expenses that are recurring and some that come in spontaneously. I want everyone to pick up a pen and a paper or even use an Excel sheet or use an online platform to work out your monthly budget to the core. And what does this mean? Your bills, your rent, your utility, your transport, your food, everything. And I want you to also add those things that do not come every month. So for instance, when you're giving gifts to friends and family when they've reached some milestones in their life, so like a birthday, like when someone has a baby, I want you to allocate a budget to it monthly because majority of the time we get paid monthly. And also maybe when you're sending money home to family, let's say you have a fair idea of the emergencies that come to you. So then you can try and allocate a monthly budget for it and put it aside. What we are trying to achieve is that you don't want your emotions to be in control when you start investing. Emotions are the enemy to investing. Emotions are the enemy to wealth building. And you can control your emotions when you have knowledge. So when you put yourself in a position where you understand and know how much you are spending, even if those expenditures are not coming every day or every month, but you still make budgets for it and allocations for it, and how much you have coming in as your income, then you are in a good position to say that, hey, I actually have too much expenses. I actually have too little expenses. I actually can do this or do that. So let's assume that your monthly income or your salary is £4,000 after taxes are taken. And when you work this out, you realize that your expenses go up to £3,000. That means that you have a clean £1,000 profit to be able to start investing with it, if that makes sense. Now, the next step I want us to go to when we start talking about working out our monthly budget is that you want to be able to have your profit in a position where if you lose your income, you can take care of yourself without your emotions going haywire. Let me explain. So you've got £4,000 coming in every month. You've got £3,000 going out every month or being allocated to something in your budget every month, and you've got 1,000 left over. Now, if you lose your job in 3 months, what is going to happen? Now, what we want is for you not to have the situation where you've lost your job or lost your means of income, or you are not capable to work and you are in a frenzy, because in that case you make very bad money decisions. So what I'm going to advise here is that we work out a 12-month monthly budget in terms of your expenses. So in this case, when we worked out that £3,000 is what goes out a month, we know that we need £3,000 times 12 months to be in a position where our minds are stable. That means we need £36,000. And that's what most people will put there as their buffer. Now, another option for your buffer is to get employment insurance. So instead of saving up a buffer and doing nothing with it and feeling like you have money sitting there that is not working for you, I would advise you put it in a high interest saving account anyways. But some people will go in for the option of getting employment insurance, maybe which insures them for 6 months. I'd like you to also analyze in your industry where you work, how easy it is for you to get a new job when you lose a job, or for you to get a new job when you leave a job. So in this case, if it takes about 3 months approximately for you to get a job, I would advise that you put a slightly higher buffer of like 5 to 6 months, just in case during the time that you have an emergency of having lost your job, you do have a good time to recover. And in that case, your buffer is going to be taking care of you. So in this case, let's assume that we have worked out 36k as our buffer. My advice would be to save up to 36k before you start investing. Because now, if you start investing your £1,000 into stocks, into crypto, and you lose your job, and now all the money is in crypto, and at that moment, crypto is down, and you've lost money, you will be emotional and you will start making all the wrong decisions, and you will get to the point where you are in debt. So ideally, you want to save up to 36k in a buffer. Now, I also want you to look at it personally. So let's say that 3k a month of your expenses includes rent, but also you've got the option to move back home if something goes wrong. In that case, that rent is slashed. Maybe your rent is £1,500. That rent will be slashed if, for instance, you lose your job. So in that case, your real buffer should be £1,500 instead of £3,000 times your 12 months. So maybe if you have to go back home and live with your parents and they won't charge you rent, that means you've got £1,500 of food, water, whatever that you buy, transport, whatever it is, times 12 months that can take care of you whilst you work to rebound into making income again. If you like what's going on this channel, please click the subscribe button and share with a friend. Put in your comments, your questions, and we'll continue to break them down to give everyone the understanding they need to be confident in investing. Let's get right into it. We are now going to set some financial goals. And how does that look like? Some people set financial goals which doesn't make sense, which also does not encourage them to move forward in investing. Examples of bad financial goals or bad investment goals are: I want to be rich. I want to be financially free. I want to invest for my future. I want to start investing better. Those are bad financial goals. It just says, oh, I feel like doing this thing. It's like you saying, I want to play chess. It's like you saying, I want to play a video game. You can't increase your wealth by having such vague goals. Examples of goals that could make sense is, I want to retire by age 40 and have £300,000 as my net worth that I will live off on. And in this case, you have worked out your monthly budget. You have worked out how much you need to live daily and how much you need to live monthly. And you can now see that, okay, if I have 300,000 sitting there in my investments and that's earning me 10% every year, then I can live from there onwards without having to work again. Another investment goal that could be better than having the vague goals is I want to invest and achieve £50,000 that I will use to start my own business. Or I want to invest up to £100,000, or I want to achieve £100,000 by maybe age 35 that I will use to buy a house. So you need to make sure that your financial goals that you are setting are smart goals, goals that are achievable, goals that you can work backwards to achieve what you want to achieve. And if, let's say, you are lost, you are like, see, I just started working, I'm not sure what I want to achieve, all I know is I want more money, then working in the other way of knowing your expenses and knowing your revenue and knowing how much is left over that you want to invest, you can just use that to invest smartly. And you can see that growing. And as time goes on, you can say, okay, I want to do this. So then you know how to allocate how much of those funds that's growing into what you want to do. And you can say, okay, I want to not be able to work anymore, and I can see that my funds grow at this rate every year. So therefore, if I live on the rate of the growth, I will be fine. The next thing is, after you've worked all these things out, is to now start your investments. And you can group your investments into 3. You're going to have low risk investments, medium risk investments, and high risk investments. Examples of low risk investments are high interest savings accounts, government bonds, low-risk bonds or ETFs, dividend-paying blue-chip companies, and fixed deposits. So in this case, you would usually have a return of between like 3 to 7%, depending on how good or the analysis you made on any of those. So depending on the country, so let's say if you invest in bonds, depending on the country's like interest rate level, maybe you could have between 0 to like 4%. If you're investing in like ETFs, which are maybe these low risk dividend paying blue chip companies, you could get maybe between 5 to 7% dividends. So these are safe, and these help you to still see your capital sitting there. The likelihood of them going low significantly for you to actually start seeing your capital being lost is quite low. So if your investment appetite is quite low and you're like, see, I cannot see myself losing any money, then you can capitalize on putting majority of your savings in low risk investments. Now, next one is medium risk investments. So examples of medium risk investments can be balanced mutual funds or ETFs, index funds, so like S&P 500, FTSE 100, those are one of the most common ones I hear people talk about. Real estate investment trusts, blue chip stocks, so stocks that are well known and also have been established for quite a while, so the likelihood for them to go under is quite low. Some examples of high risk investments are buying individual stocks, especially penny stocks and startups, companies that are not well established. Number 2, cryptocurrencies. I don't even need to talk too much about that. Number 3, leveraged ETFs. So instead of just buying ETFs with your money, you go and borrow money and you are leveraged to buy those ETFs. So let's say you bring up 10%, you go and borrow 90% and you use that to buy the ETF. So when you lose money significantly. And when you gain money, you also gain money significantly. Venture capital or angel investing is the next one. So in this case, you invest in new companies and you're thinking, oh, this company is going to blow, so I'm going to give them money. The next one is flipping real estate or investing in distressed real estate. So BRRRs or flips. I'm going to go into details on all of these later in other videos that are coming up. So you are well informed to know how to start investing for yourself. You're going to be in control. You're going to be the one that's going to make those decisions to help yourself to improve your wealth. So the last few points I want to make for everyone to think about is you need to understand that the more income you have coming in, which is your salary or side hustles or whatever, the more you would have left over to invest. Number 2, the less your cost is, which is your budget for eating, transport, utility bills, everything, the less your cost is, the more you might have left over to invest. So depending on your financial goals, we are going to focus on making sure that the profits we have left over increases so that we can start allocating them into the right investments to start growing. And in this case, you will make the decision as to what percentage in terms of low, medium, and high. When I talk about that, some people can say, I'm just going to do 45, 45, 10. Whatever works for you, you need to consider your age. So if you're, let's say, you're 50 years or above, you mostly don't have a time to benefit from long-term investments. And also these long-term investments are the ones that make more money if you keep the money in for a long time. Also, if you're older in age, you might not get the advantage of compounding interest, because compounding interest deals with consistency and patience over decades for you to get the benefits. So I would like to advise that people start young. If you're watching this and you know someone who's just started working and all that, please send it to them. Tell them to subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be bringing them knowledgeable ways by which they can grow their wealth as a young person and as they are growing. So in this case, you can get to have a life and also invest. The last thing I'd like to add is, I don't want anyone to invest and therefore live a frugal life, because sometimes you can focus so much on investing, and by the time you're ready to, earn the benefits of your investing, you're too old to enjoy it. So even in your monthly expenses, put in a budget for going on holiday, put in a budget for having, some time out with friends and family, having some time out with your partners, and make sure that whilst you're investing, you don't put yourself under pressure. Reminder, your emotions are the enemy for investing. 2, investing can either increase your fear or your greed. You need to make sure that you are not affected by either of them. And number 3, consistency and patience pays. These quick money-making ventures may end up being a scam, may end up being something that may not help you, because it will end up affecting your emotions and you will pull you off your stability to keep investing. So this is what I have for you today. Let's keep our ears to the ground. We're going to have more videos to explain all these things: how to open accounts, how to put money into the accounts, how to buy it, how to monitor it, how to check whether it's growing. And then we'll get to a point where our wealth gradually grows and we are not emotional about our money, but we work with facts and with all the knowledge we have in our pockets. So let's get investing. It's been Abigail.